Looks like we have David and Lance.
I believe we have seen these two play against each other before.
I think so. Early on, or one of our earlier Standard Showdowns, maybe, yeah?
Lance was not on Dragons at that one. He was
on Knights. So it looks like maybe we see some of the cool new Dragon tech. I know Sarkin is available.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and we have different Elder Dragons, so
there's a whole bunch of Elder Dragons. We're not just having to be in red for Dragons.
Yeah, so Dragons could be a pretty wide variety, and see how it goes.
And then we've got David on Jund mid-range. I saw him playing earlier today.
Yeah, I got to put in a couple of practice matches against David.
Seemed pretty good.
So yeah, it was a pretty good deck. It looks like he has a lot of stuff that he plays a lot of Jund and mid-rangey kind of decks. So a lot of the stuff fits his play profile. So hopefully we'll see how it goes between the two.
And he's been on this combination for a while too. He's been tweaking it through a couple different sets.
I think at some point it hit Naya for a little while, but for the most part it's like Jund or Naya.
The red-green base.
Yeah. Something to kind of like grind out your opponent. Like good value creatures and either black to grind them out or white to keep your creatures a little more buff, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. All right. I don't believe they both took mulligans. I don't think there's been a
I think they're just getting ready to start.
Shuffling.
Yeah.
First game.
Yep. So Andy, how about you? Have you put together a new Standard deck yet, or are you still dealing with the old one, making changes, that sort of thing?
I set aside time today to work on my Standard with M19 deck.
Right.
And I pulled out all my Nicol Boluses.
Okay.
And I was setting them aside to work on it, and then I said, I need to get the Core 19 20 Nicol Boluses.
Yep.
And I don't know about you. For me, we have a chat group, and one of the other guys, Mike, we tend to communicate in GIFs a lot.
Sure, yeah.
A lot of times stuff happens in conversations,
it hurts me so much
real world.
that you say GIFs, but it's like correct, but it hurts me still.
I say what I want, Alex.
I know, that's fair.
but I tend to think in scenes from movies.
Right.
And TV. That they pop in my head.
Okay.
And so as I'm trying to build my deck, I couldn't find any of my Core 19 cards.
At all?
At all. So I'm going to say the name of the movie of the scene that popped in my head. And I want you to let me know if you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Christmas Story.
You're going to shoot your eye out with that? No, Christmas Story. Wait,
that's the right movie.
That's the right movie.
In the kitchen.
Yeah.
Turkey on the table.
Yes.
The dogs come running in and take all the turkey.
Right.
I couldn't find my core set cards. There's no Nicol Bolas decks. There's no...
Yeah?
Vine Mares. No Nicol Bolas brews.
Right.
So... Anyway, that was my day. Looking at Lance's hand, we have a game going now.
Yep, it looks like we have Is It going on here.
I got 3 lands, 2 of them dual color.
I see a Sarkin.
And a Chain Whirler.
Yep.
And 2 Skirk Prospectors.
Cool, I like it. So there's
Sarkin,
a lot of ramp.
Definitely going to ramp into those dragons.
Yeah,
we're already in 2 of Grixis colors. With Sarkin splashing, I think we might see a Nicol Bolas in Lance's deck. I have a feeling.
I think David has 8 cards. Are they sorting this out? I think David has 8 cards in hand.
Yeah, he accidentally drew 1 extra. That's a pretty good... Well,
okay, yeah, there we go. Oh, okay, sure. Ben, this is what's happening. Ben is... he's basically getting a card thought seized out.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is... I believe that this is the remedy.
Okay.
Here for...
I'm seeing... Of this hand, I'm seeing 2 lands. Mm-hmm. 2 Ravenous Chupacabras. Walking Ballista... Glint Sleeve Siphoner, looks like a Servant,
right?
And a Chandra. Alright.
Okay, so...
I'm not sure. We're letting the judge settle it at the table.
I think they're just sorting it out.
Decide.
Okay, so...
Looks like they're just going to reshuffle. The game hasn't progressed at all.
Okay. Because I think what happens is he gets a card thought seized out, right? And then I think they also have David and Lance switched right now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I think David and Lance, David is...
Lance should be on the left side of the screen. David's on the right.
Yeah.
And we got Jake working on it.
Yep. But I think what happened...
You know how I recognize that?
Yes. The shirt?
I see Link.
I did too.
On David.
I saw the Zelda shirt and I was like, that can't be right.
Once you said that, I looked at shirts and there's like
Yeah.
On Lance's side.
So I think what happened is David got the card Thoughtseize out, and then he had to decide whether or not he wanted to keep the remaining hand, and he decided to mulligan, and in that sense, he mulliganed down to 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now we've got the names in the players' match.
Yep, I think everything is all squared away.
On a 5-card hand.
Yep. I think he has a land, 2 Eldest Reborns, a Walking Ballista,
I'm seeing 2 lands.
Oh, 2 lands.
Full Art Swamp.
Oh, that's a swamp, yes. Okay, so he has 2 lands.
Red-green.
2 Eldest Reborns, a Walking Ballista.
Sheltered Thicket.
And a Sheltered Thicket. And he has a land on top.
Forest.
Oh, I think that's fine. And he has a dual land on top.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of action yet, but for a 5-card hand, that's probably one of the best things you can hope for at this point.
He's got plenty of mana.
Yeah. The good thing is that Eldest Reborn is a kind of card that will catch you up from behind, because it does basically 3 things to adjust the tempo of the game if it exists that long.
Right.
It'll make your opponent sacrifice a creature, make them discard a card, and you get a creature back. So it's 3 things for 1 card. So
you lose a lot to get that creature, though.
Yeah, you do.
It's a bit risky.
Yeah, and but for Eldest Reborn, it's like one of those things. Like if you're on a 5-lander, it's not bad to have one of those at the top of your curve, because at least you have an opportunity to come back.
Can you pull that one up for us, Jake? Since he has 2 in hand, the Eldest Reborn.
Yeah.
It's one of the sagas out of Dominaria.
Yep.
Pretty powerful black card, like you were saying.
Yep.
So there's the Chain Whirler that's going to take down the Ballista, but not before it gets a shot in.
Yep. And I think David should. I mean, it's good that Lance clears the board, right? You want to deny David as much resources because he's already behind a card,
right?
But David isn't too sad about that trade, because it's a 1-for-1 creature. It's it's 1 damage. The Whirler he has to deal with at some point. Yeah. The Eldest Reborn. It's a saga from Dominaria.
Yeah, there's 2 of them in David's hands, so that's why I'm just thinking maybe pull it up if you can.
And it looks like Lance is going to jam in here for 3.
Thank you, Jake.
There you go.
So he's got to get 2 more lands to get it into play.
It's
expensive. Once he gets it...
Yeah. Sarkhan comes down. That's Sarkhan Fireblade. One of the new Planeswalkers from 2019.
Key ability, he adds 2 mana of any color to cast a dragon spell.
Oh, so he's a little dragon ramper. And he only costs 3, which is, for Planeswalkers, as everyone knows, is pretty cheap.
That's pretty cheap, Planeswalker.
Yeah.
Not Tibalt cheap.
Yeah, not Tibalt cheap, but you want a Planeswalker that does something. I mean, we love Tibalt. Come back, Tibalt. Looks like David catches his 4th land, which actually, for David right now, he just wants to hit lands. Like, it's not great that he doesn't have a board, and Lance is still his board is growing, but David needs to hit the 5th land, or he gets no action whatsoever. Right. So he'd rather just, actually, I think David would rather just see a land off the top on his next draw.
No, I'm not sure why there's 2 Prospectors in Lance's graveyard. He discarded 1 to draw. I'm not sure how the other one got there.
I believe he Sarkhan Fireblooded. Oh, he sacrificed 1 for the Chain Whirler, and then I think he discarded the other one to Sarkhan's +1 ability.
That makes sense.
Yep. And it looks like he gets the 2nd Planeswalker down.
Second Planeswalker, he gets Chandra.
Yep. Torch of Defiance.
Also a mana ramper.
Also a mana ramper, but he's going to just +1. Is this the Flame of Keld? I believe
he's got 2 cards in hand, or 3 cards, so not a bad... 2 or 3 cards, not a bad time to be getting that one.
I believe this is the Flame of Keld. Flame of Keld is another Dominaria saga, which he's going to discard here, but basically it'll help you...
Exiled to Chandra.
Yep, to Chandra for 2 damage. It's called the First Eruption, I'm sorry. Oh, interesting. So it is another Mono Ramper. It takes care of flyers, and the 3rd effect seems like the most significant, where you can sack a mountain and basically use a board wipe if you want that turn.
So that's 4 mana ramp spells, if you're counting the Skirk Prospectors.
Yeah.
That we've seen out of Lance's deck. So he's trying to get to that top end really fast.
Yep. Looks like David has a Chandra as well.
Who's going to take out the Chain Whirler.
Yep. That's the most immediate threat. It would very likely take care of Chandra within a turn or 2, or if Chandra doesn't actually produce anything even more or even quicker.
So Lance is starting this turn. If he has a dragon, he has 8 mana already.
Yeah, he's digging for one of his big dragons on the top of this curve, if he can find it. Not insignificant, he also found a Field of Ruin, which might take David off.
He
black?
could take...
I think he would take him off black.
He's only got one black source. He's got a lot of green and 2 reds.
Yeah. I mean, it would make David... Actually, it doesn't really matter because David could just tutor for the black source. But Chandra gets to 6. Is that a Varric's Bladewing? No, that's a Demanding Dragon. I'm sorry. That's a Demanding Dragon from the new set.
5 damage to target opponent unless they sacrifice a creature, which he can't, so that's 5 damage.
And it's a 5/5 flyer, 4/5, which is a significant body at this point.
And he only had to tap 1 land to cast it.
Yeah, I think he what he did, he plussed his Sarkhan ability and his Chandra ability, leaving up 4 lands for whatever he wants to cast now. Dragon Horde? Dragon's Horde, another ramp spell. It's like a monolith, except for if a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, which hopefully, if he had played that before, he would have got a counter, and the counter will allow him to draw a card. He can tap and remove a counter. Yeah, to draw a card.
Yeah,
that's a
curious
sweet
why he
card.
didn't play that one first, but this is turn 5. He's ramping out pretty well.
Yeah, and it's also significant that Chandra at some point will be able to ultimate within 2 turns.
David right now has no threat on the board to get rid of her.
There are multiple points of attack here from lands.
Okay, so David has Vraska's Contempt is what he's showing, I believe, Judge.
But unfortunately, I think he might have been trying to show us in the camera, but he doesn't have the second black source to cast it, sort of deal.
He's looking at all the different threats that Lance was able to put on the board.
That's a lot. It's quite a bit.
That was a pretty impressive showing from the Dragons.
Mm-hmm. This deck is very, very cool. A lot of ramp effects. It looks like you get into, I'm assuming, Demanding Dragon, Glorybringer, those kind of big red dragons. Yep. It looks like there's not a lot of multicolor stuff. I mean, there's
a lot of good red dragons right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of good red dragons. Dragon's Horde notably does make any color, so if perhaps Lance has a idea for using one of the Elder Dragons, it's possible.
We saw red-blue.
Red-blue, yep.
So we know he has blue.
I don't remember.
I would not be surprised if he had splashes for the other Elder Dragons.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Plus Dragons are. I'm not exactly sure which is red. Bolas, actually.
Bolas is red-blue.
Yeah, but the black is a little rough. We'll see.
Well, he's got Sarkhan. He's got the Treasure Hoard.
Does Sarkhan give you 2 of any color?
2 of any color.
Oh, no kidding.
He's got red covered with all his basic lands.
Right.
Or all his lands.
That's cool.
So he can easily splash into any of the Elder Dragons.
Yeah. And red, I think, is pretty good these days for direct damage removal. There's a lot of good ones.
So red-blue, looking at the spoiler, the only one red-blue would be Nicol Bolas.
Okay. I mean, he's a good one. He's a 4/4 dragon for 4 flying, and it makes your opponent discard a card, so it's instant tempo.
But he can definitely splash any of them.
Yeah.
Because Palladium Moors, Vivictus, Asmati, both are red and then 2 colors, which he has.
That's the dream, right? Just like slamming Elder Dragons all over your board.
It's like living in 1993 again.
Except for the Elder Dragons now are like infinitely better.
Yeah, there's no upkeep.
Yeah. I mean, they do better things. Flavor-wise, the older dragons are way cooler.
The older ones, I think, way cooler, look a little nicer.
Like maybe it's just you and I, but I really like the art on the older ones.
Yeah, it has much more of a fantasy art feel to it. Bozu, you came for the Pauper. Yeah, these are not commons.
Yeah, we're doing our Standard Showdown this week, Saturday. Last week, Saturday, we had Pauper. We tend to stream our Pauper events whenever they're up, and that's usually once a month. And
I think Bozu was calling out Jake for not updating our slide.
Oh, that's okay. But we welcome you here anyway, and if you want to check out any of the new Standard Showdown stuff that's going on for this season, we're starting it here and checking it out for some late night magic.
Crimson caught it too, so thank you guys. We're getting started streaming. We're trying to get better at it, and we appreciate you guys pointing stuff out so we can fix it and learn. So we're getting there.
Yeah,
it's been just over a month, and.
By the way, I love Pauper. Pauper is one of my favorite formats, and as evidence, I actually wasn't in the booth for Pauper because I was playing Pauper.
Yeah, he had to go play and win the tournament.
I love Pauper.
Instead of helping me out.
But Crimson, I guarantee you we will have a Pauper stream coming up
We've been doing one
soon.
A month.
Yeah.
So
we will have more Pauper content for you.
And if you want to know when it will be,
we have
it should be listed on our monthly schedule.
Yeah, or if you want to go to otherrealms.com.
Yep.
Yep.
So that schedule should come out this week because next month is a new month.
Yep.
Next week is a new month.
Next
month's always a new month.
That's true. It's always a new month, Andy. So it looks like we're getting into game 2 here, Lance versus David.
All right. Hopefully David has learned you only start with 7.
Yeah. It happens sometimes.
It does.
It's okay. Everything got worked out. I'm sure there was nothing ill or malicious about it. So,
no.
And everyone's friendly and happy with each other here, so it's good. But he has seen a great deal of what Lance wants to do with his deck. So we'll see if he brought anything in to deal with these big rampy creatures.
Well, he saw 2 planeswalkers.
Yeah.
By turn 4.
Yep.
So, pretty sure he kept all the Vraska's Contempts.
He might have actually thought to remove some of the lower costing, lower damage interaction spells, thinking...
I could see taking Fatal Push out. I'm pretty sure he's got Fatal Push.
Exactly. Things that don't interact very well with stuff like Skirk Prospector, which can be just sacked or mana, or...
So we're seeing 3 lands, Chupacabra, Eldest Reborn, Liliana, and looks like a Servant of the Conduit.
Yeah, that's great, actually.
And that's 3 different color lands.
Yeah, he has all 3 lands. He has a ramp element to get him to the 5 slot, which he has all the stuff he wants to do.
On Lance's side, we're seeing Grixis lands. Wily Goblin, which gives him a treasure. Skirk Prospector, which is ramp. Well, sack ramp.
Right.
Chandra and...
Supreme Will.
Supreme Will for...
a little bit of counter magic. And drawing as well. It's a very versatile spell.
And we are confirmed now Grixis colors in Lance's deck.
Yep. So I expect to see Nicol Bolas at some point if he can find him.
There is hope.
Yep. I like the white bordered revised mountain though. I gotta just comment that's a great choice.
A lot of people say they play white borders to tilt people.
I like white borders.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I mean
that's what I started with.
I think you and I were both of that era, so I love white borders. I won't intentionally go out and white border something,
right?
But I like them otherwise.
So sacrificing the Prospector, he's up to 3 mana this turn.
Yep.
Wily Goblin.
Yep. He's gonna produce a treasure.
So he sacked the Prospector because he needed 2 red for the Goblin.
Yeah.
Wily Goblin, when it enters the battlefield, produces 1 treasure.
So this actually puts Lance to 3 available mana this turn, or 2 left, but 3 total.
Right.
So him and David both will be able to ramp up to their 4-cost, 5-cost spells. Lance notably, I think, has a Chandra in hand. So we'll see what happens if he can pick up the next land and just go straight into Chandra next turn.
So David on 3 lands. Yep. Well, plus the Servant, so he's got 4 mana available. He's doing a bit of his own ramp.
Yep.
He does have a Chupacabra.
Which, it's not all that efficient to take out the Goblin because he's kind of done what he wants to do.
And he's already seen the ramp to Big Dragon strategy out of Lance.
Yes. So, however, he might just have to play it. The reason why he might just play it anyway is just to have a body, but he decides to hold it. That's not unreasonable.
Yeah, a 1/1 threat on the board is not horrible. He has a while to deal with it.
So Lance has 4 available mana to cast his Chandra if he wants to.
I think Lance really wants a 2nd red mana. He could cast Chandra and then use Chandra to put out the Wily
Goblin. Yeah. Like Chandra plus for mana, grab the Wily Goblin, get another treasure. Which is kind of cool because the Wily Goblin protects Chandra. The last 2 Wily Goblins.
He's now got 2 creatures to protect her.
Yep. And I mean, I guess you have to kind of. Oh, he wants to. Okay.
He's flipping to deal damage.
Straight to the face, to the dome. Okay.
He's reminded David this is a race.
Yeah.
The race isn't over till one of us dies, and he's getting to it. So here comes the Contempt.
Yep. David's going to gain 2 life, and what'll happen is next turn he still has access to that 1 energy, so he can hopefully draw a land, play his 5-drop.
Yep.
And I believe that's a land that comes in untapped. Yep. So
Dragon Skull
now,
Summit.
yeah,
Well, Eldest Reborn
The thing about Eldest Reborn here is that he has 2 of them, so playing one isn't awful now. And like I like stacking sagas,
Right?
If you can, because you just get multiple waves of what you want, what you get.
Yeah.
But he plays Liliana, which is fine. He's
Liliana Death's Majesty, Jake.
Yeah. Make a 2/2 zombie and then mill 2. Part of that is that Eldest Reborn's final thing is put target creature or planeswalker from a graveyard onto battlefield under your control.
And we just saw a Chupacabra and a Braid go to the graveyard.
So Liliana will help fuel the Eldest Reborn.
Right.
So yeah, playing Liliana first is just fine. Plus it gives a zombie to protect her. Plus she starts with lots of loyalty. All of this is like things that are good.
It seems like they've been padding the loyalty on planeswalkers lately.
Yeah, 5 is a lot.
Most of them have been getting, it seems, heavier on the initial loyalty.
Yep.
So we finally found a second red.
I think now he's going to just play the other
There's
Wily
another goblin.
Okay. So now he still has access to 3 mana, which is enough for Supreme Will. In case he doesn't like something David is going to play next turn.
Right.
However, it does nothing to advance his position against Liliana, which is going to be troublesome for Lance if he doesn't do that soon.
And there's no way for him to get past a couple of 2/2 creatures with his goblins right now.
So like right now, it's good to just keep plussing Liliana, making zombies, and filling your graveyard, because if you have 2 Eldest Reborns, the end game for David is much better than Lance's. I love that zombie token. Look at that.
It looks an awful lot like Jake, our tech guy.
Yeah, it does. It looks like David's just coming in. No fear whatsoever.
Well, he's still got 1 back there to protect Liliana.
Yep.
At this point, Liliana kills his servant.
Yep.
So, may as well get some attacks with it. Supreme Will to look at his top 4.
So I see a Lannery Storm and another First Eruption.
Looks like he took the First Eruption.
Okay.
Which, on this board, it deals 1 to each creature.
With flying.
Okay. And then it adds mana, and then the third one...
He can sack a mountain to do a board wipe, basically. It's like a Sweltering Suns. It does 3 damage to all the creatures. So it does kind of give him a long-term way to clear out David's low ground here. But
right.
And actually, that's not an awful way because it's an enchantment. Like, that's actually a pretty interesting way to dodge kind of the problems that would...
It gets around...
Yeah. It gets around a lot of stuff that David would do to it. Like, unless David sided in like a Naturalize or something, that kind of effect. It's not like a very interactive thing that you can do. Sagas aren't that interactive to deal with, right? So it's 1 damage
1 to each creature without flying. So
right?
He lost his goblins.
Yep. The next turn he's going to get a big mana ramp, and then the one after that he can do 3 to everything.
No, we haven't seen his hand in a while. I don't think he has... Well, now we're seeing his hand. So he had Varix.
Yep.
Which he still does because he can't target creatures with duress.
Correct. And if he draws a land next turn, he'll be able to kick Varix, I believe, because he'll have 8 mana with the First Eruption mana. It'll be 2, 5, 6, 7. And then I believe... Is it 8 to kick Varix?
I want to say it's just 7.
Oh, okay. Well, then he might be able to do it.
I'm looking it up. Hoping Jake is looking it up also.
Yeah, it's in Dominaria, so it wouldn't be in...
Oh, yeah, we don't have Dominaria spoilers, sorry.
There, Varix Bladewing, kicker 3. So yeah, it's 7. So this turn he would be able to just straight kick Varix. So he gets 2 flying 4/4s.
Yep. Which
is actually super strong here.
That's pretty good. Pretty good rate.
He's
7 mana, 2 4/4s.
Yeah. Yep. 2 4/4s, and then the next turn he'll be able to sack his mountain to take care of the ground. Liliana will be able to bring back stuff like Chupacabras twice, in fact. Liliana right now has enough loyalty to do that more than once. Yeah. However, I believe if David doesn't have a direct answer like Vraska's Contempt to take out one of the dragons, Liliana might not have enough loyalty to do it the second time. I think the Eldest Reborn here will be able to take care of one, though, so that's a big plus.
There's a Chandra in his hand that can take out of a second.
Yep.
Oh. Well, the Eldest Reborn is the cleanest way. Chandra would have to minus to do it.
Yeah, and the Eldest Reborn puts a clock on Lance's stuff towards the end of the game. Like, 2 more turns from there, Lance has to worry about stuff coming back from the graveyard, which he will not be able to do.
If I'm not mistaken, Eldest Reborn is any graveyard.
It's any graveyard, yep.
So he could get Varric's back and kick it himself. Or no, he can't.
He can't kick it because he's not casting it.
I was thinking it was an enter the battlefield effect.
Yeah.
So it isn't.
Spark Tongue, he could actually do that.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So Chupacabra able to take out the second dragon.
Yep.
And a swing for 6. So David has turned this game around. From game 1, this is a very different showing.
Yep. I believe that's for 8 because he swung in with the
Servant
as
also,
well.
yeah.
So Lance is going to clear the board here.
3 damage to everything.
Yep. However, since he's at 2, unless he's able to take care of Chandra, +1 will just take him out.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he has here.
The nice thing about Liliana, the creatures that she put back on the board are back in the graveyard to come right back out again.
Right.
So
they aren't... I don't know. Maybe
the Scarab God, they're exiled and you get tokens. Liliana, you get the actual creature card.
That's awesome.
So they never really go away.
Yeah, that just comes back in. It's just it's also a zombie. That's what it is. Right. Okay, so we're going to go to game 3 here.
Lance will most likely be on the play.
I would imagine so. Both of these decks like to be playing on curve. And Lance's especially, because if he's able to ramp into a dragon early on with any of the 2 to 4 ramp elements we've seen in his deck,
right?
I think it's actually really hard for David to deal with, to be honest, because he doesn't have a ton of things to deal with flyers. I mean, he just has stuff that says destroy and exile, which is really clean and good, and sacrifice, but he has no blocking element, right, in the air, so... In that case, Lance has that advantage. So, like, when it comes to dealing with taking out planeswalkers, Lance will have flyers, whereas David won't.
But the amount of kill that David has shown
is a lot.
He has a whole lot of black kill spells.
And red, I believe,
He had a braids as well. So, yeah, he's got ways to deal with the stuff in the air.
Yep.
And the nice thing about the black kill spells, it doesn't matter how big they are.
Yep. I think he does have to save... like his Rasa's Contempts for key planeswalkers and his
or big threats.
The
dragons, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like we said, that game he just ignored the Wily Goblins.
Right.
Because that's not the threat he needs to worry about in this match. So
I think with M19 we're seeing like we're no longer seeing like a lot of linear, just straight to the ground. Like the last Dominaria set, we're seeing like just a ton of like mono red, just or heavy control. It was very polarizing,
very quick or very controlling.
Yeah, I think we still have some of those decks, but I think now we have probably a few more mid-range and combo decks in the format with 2019.
Now, we're seeing both of these decks. You're still, turn 1, do something. Turn 2, do something. Turn 3. So they're still filling the curve.
Yeah, these are mid-range decks. Yeah. They both want to kill you at like 4, 5, and 6, or outlast you to a point where you just die. So we'll see. Alright, looks like they both have a fresh 7, and we'll see how the hands are, and if they decide to keep or mulligan.
I've seen a good amount of lands on David's side.
I see at least a white bordered mountain on Lance's side. So
it sticks out, doesn't it?
Yeah. Looks like David is probably shipping this. No? Oh yeah, he's shipping it.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's checking. I never check.
I used to never check, and now I always check.
I can't do it.
It hurts too much?
It does, because every time I check, I think to myself, I should have kept.
I should have kept, yeah. I did. I played a game earlier.
Don't decide if you should have kept based on the top card.
Yeah. I played a game earlier, which when you saw my hand,
Alex kept a 1-land hand.
I did.
And I actually agreed with it.
Speaking of... Oh, no, that's 2 lands there. That's
two lands.
Skirk Prospector.
Whoa.
Wily Goblin,
Fast.
Chain Whirler, Sarkin, and Demanding Dragon. Perfect hand.
That's a great ramp.
Perfect hand.
So turn 1 Prospector, turn 2 Goblin, turn 3 Sarkin if he wants.
Turn 3 he might be able to play the Demanding Dragon. Yeah, because
I see a turn 4 Dragon.
Well, because turn 1 he plays the Mountain with the Skirk Prospector.
Right.
Turn 2 he plays the Goblin, makes a treasure. Turn 3 he plays if he gets another land, that's a 3rd land and 2 goblins and a treasure, so he could cast 6.
Turn 3 Dragon.
Yeah.
That's a pretty nice start.
Actually, turn 3 Dragon. Turn 3. Yeah, turn 3.
Yeah, because he has to get the Wily Goblin out.
Yep, turn 3.
So there's a Duress, which is going to grab Sarkin.
Yep. Vraska. That's a Vraska.
Okay.
At the top. Yep. Skirk Prospector.
There's Liliana to join Vraska. So double Planeswalkers on David's side and a Duress.
I think David is going to be digging for lands here. I think he's going to see the Sarkin, but then even by seeing the Sarkin, knowing the other stuff is kind of scary. Because he's going to be able to Demanding Dragon turn 3. It's whether or not David has a kill spell for Demanding Dragon.
Now, he did not take a second look at that Wily Goblin.
No.
So either he realized what it's going to do, or and he's just, all right, let's get to it.
Yep.
Or he's not on that line.
Like, if David doesn't have a clean kill spell, this is going to be a quick game.
Yeah.
Oh, he sacks the... Lannery Star.
Start making some treasure tokens.
I think he drew that.
Yep, that was not in the hand. So there's 1 treasure. And David takes 2.
Yep.
And that's also going to provide pressure on a Planeswalker.
Now,
once David gets to that point.
Now, this doesn't allow Lance to play the turn 3 Demanding Dragon, but it also keeps his hand slightly more robust, if that makes sense.
Producing a lot more mana for him.
Yeah. So you can get in.
Here comes the dragon.
He can get the dragon. Yeah, he can get the dragon now without a blocking. Wow. Well, this dragon deck is sweet.
Yeah, I like it, Lance. Before we walked back here, Lance said to me, I've been brewing.
Oh, well, I like this.
This is fun. So he said, Ben, I don't need that token. I'm just going to sack it now to put up my dragon.
Because that's 5 to David's face. Because
he
doesn't have a creature to sack. And now that's 7 coming in next turn on 11 health. Ooh!
This was quick.
This is, what, is this turn 3?
Turn 3.
Gross. I love it.
And Vraska costs 4, Liliana's 5, Eldritch Reborn 5.
I think this is it for David. He's not going to have enough action quick enough to...
That was blisteringly fast.
That was, that felt like it just came out of the gate. I like this.
There's his
blue-red. Sulfur Falls. Yep.
We never even saw any...
Nope.
We saw Supreme Will. That's the only blue thing we saw him cast.
I mean, I gotta imagine Nicol Bolas is in this deck.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna see him, but it feels like you would have to fit him in.
Chain Whirler deals another one.
Damage. Down to 3.
Unless I don't think there's a card that gets David out of this at all.
No.
I think that's just it.
So he's cycling.
Yeah.
Chandra's not gonna do it.
Nope.
Because even if he deals with the dragon, that's 5 damage.
He has 5 damage coming in no matter what.
Yeah.
Dragon Skull he can play. He can play Chandra. He can take care of 1 threat, and then he just dies.
Yep. And that's just too big a board on turn 4.
Yeah, there goes the handshake. That was...
What a showing.
That was an impressive ramp dragon play. Demanding Dragon on 5 with a clean board is really gross because it's 5 to it's a lava axe to
on
the
turn
face.
3 he cast it.